Welcome to I Am Woke. I am your host, Emelina Calder, and in this video, I'm going to take you guys through a reading and energy update for the collective of lightworkers from April 28th to May 5th. If you catch this at any time after that as well, this is like a timeless reading in that you'll find that Spirit will deliver you the message right when you need it, regardless of when you watch it. But we're going to jump in. If you're new to my world, hello. Again, my name is Emelina Calder. I am a psychic medium, a spiritual coach, a spiritual mentor, a personal branding coach. I read the Akashic Records, do all the fun things. On my channel, you could expect energy updates every week, as well as personal and spiritual development videos. And if that sounds like your vibe, then go hit subscribe and tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss any energy updates, and feel free to like the video. What else do I want to say? I have a free training on the Akashic Records. It's now a 7-part video training. It's like several hours of really great content to help you learn how to access your own Akashic Records, and you can catch that link for free in the description below. Okay. What else do I want to say? I think that's the end of the announcements. Okay. So let's jump right in. I'm already in the Akashic Records. I'm going to ask them where they want to start, or if they just want me to pull some cards. So happy to have you guys here. Thank you, those of you that see this now, those of you that watch this after. Thanks for being here with me. Okay. Spirit, what do you want to send through? So the first thing I'm going to ask them is, what are you overcoming this week? What is the collective overcoming this week? The idea that they need to race to the finish line. Okay, tell me more. There's no race. You need to set a healthy pace because you're running a marathon. Okay, so those of you, all of us coming out of this last full moon, the Scorpio full moon, was probably triggering for a lot of us. Scorpio goes really, really deep, encourages really robust levels of transformation, which can go into some pretty deep inner child wounding and like touch it, like almost like you would touch the nerve in a tooth. Like when you touch the root, you know, it's like really spicy. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like very raw, triggerable. So it's kind of what the full moon last week did. And they're saying that we're not going to be able to heal it all in one scoop. It's like taking it off in chunks and just doing a little bit every day. It's being focused, slowing down the pace from a sprint to the end, a sprint to the finish line, which also is very telling for me because it's telling me that a lot of you guys have like big blessings coming, or there is a finish line in sight for what you've either been attracting or manifesting or working towards. They are literally showing me the finish line. So this is like the last, I don't know, like 500 yards. I know they said marathon, so we'll keep that on deck, but you're at like the last 500 yards and they're like, don't like sprint through and hurt yourself in the process. It's like, it's about just carry a steady pace because that finish line, there's another finish line ahead. And you're going to realize really quickly when you get to this finish line that there's another one, and then you're going to feel overwhelmed because you're going to go, when do I get a break? So let me just check back in with them. They're telling me take a break and allow fate to take over the momentum of the pace, of you being able to keep up with the pace. So I'm just going to continue to tap in with them because this is a little, not confusing of a message, but it's a little encrypted. Take breaks, maintain your pace, give up the pace to fate, meaning like, it's almost like set mile markers or benchmarks for yourself, set a routine in place where it's less about the things that you're getting done and more about you showing up with consistency in your practice for anything that you're doing, career, everything. Every day, chipping off of pieces of what needs to get done every day, less focused on they're showing me like less focus on the tasks and more focus on the like the deep work hours. So setting aside the time and then filling that time with deep work rather than trying to race through a checklist through the week. That's what you're overcoming. What else does that tell me? Okay, so if that's what you're overcoming, then that tells me that you guys are overwhelmed. You got too much going on. You feel like you're at the end of a finish line, but you also simultaneously know that you've got way too much on your plate. And it creates like an emotional hardship or like an emotional struggle from that place because you're just not sure how to maintain your emotional stability through the process of like, you know how we need like physical breaks from work? We also need like emotional breaks from anything that's going on. And that emotional well needs to be filled up pretty regularly. But it's almost like don't overtax your own emotional state through your work, almost. Focus on the idea that you can receive everything you need regardless of what you check off your list. So there's a certain portion of you being willing to do the amount of work that you're going to do through your week, through your routine. And then whatever doesn't get done, like they're reminding me like it's up to source. Give it up to source. Source is going to help you get the accomplishments that you want. It's not all up to you and your physical effort. Of course you're going to be putting in physical effort, but it's like do what you can do every day. Take your inspiration until it ends and then take it no farther. It's like whatever can be put off for tomorrow will be put off for tomorrow. Whatever can be put off for next week will be put off for next week. It's like the, how do you guys want to explain this? It's like the tasks that you're getting done, the focus and the goals, just hold the goal in your mind as being complete, whatever the goal is, or goals rather. And whatever you get done on the way to that goal or set of goals is enough to get there. It's enough to accomplish it. And they're saying bring source into the equation. So source is in charge of like bringing you the rest of the steps, even if you don't have the energy, effort, or like, I don't know, like physical work being completed in order to get there. Like source can fill in those gaps with more resources, with the right people, with giving you new inspired ideas so that you can find the right resources or attract in the right people or whatever it is, so that you don't feel like you are the only one taking care of things that need to get done for yourself. That actually source is meeting you halfway, regardless of whatever amount of work you're able to get done to move yourself towards your goals. Source is going to meet you and bring the rest of the resources in. Now, I would think if they're emphasizing that for this week, then that is the challenge, which tells me that we're going to want to try to take everything on ourselves, bring it to completion, like just check off all the boxes, do all the things and run like a hamster and sprint out of the gate, which totally makes sense because the full moon last week was like slowed everybody down and made everybody start looking at like childhood trauma and how they relate in relationships and exposed nerves. And so there's almost this like energy of trying to sprint away from that energy and just race into the practical. And what they're saying is just slow it down, pace yourself both physically and emotionally, and know that whatever you get done is enough. And if it doesn't look like it's enough, like according to material practice, like you think you have to get a certain amount of things done in order to get material results, obviously some of that's true, but they're really reminding me that you get as much as you can done, and then you get as much as you can done tomorrow and the day after and the day after, but you can still access and receive and attract the results and the goals that you're looking for, because source can fill in the gaps for the work that is not able to be done by you because you would reach exhaustion. Source is saying if you're exhausted, it's going to be hard to receive. So you have to pace yourself through this week. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say on that. Let go of the idea that you need to know exactly how you're going to get through the challenges that are going to be popping up into your life or that are already present in your life, and assume that as you move forward, just one step, one day at a time, that the new resources will show up and give you the ideas and the resources to tackle the problems that aren't today's problems. They're like ahead of time, in the future. Okay. What are you transforming into? Akashic records. You're sprouting your wings and flying. They're showing me Icarus. Let me just look in again. Oh, this all has to do with energy maintenance. Okay, so they're showing me Icarus. You know how Icarus had the wings and the candle wax that sticks the wings together, and he flies too close to the sun, and then his wings melt, and the feathers all drop, and then he falls. So there are two messages here. The first is they are telling you you have wings. Yes, fly, soar, ride the highs of the emotional energy. There are highs this week. This also might feel a little manic. If you guys have been feeling manic, that is so effing saturated in the collective energy right now. That's hitting us all in waves. So this feels like that manic energy. There's just like, I don't know. We'll skip that. Anyway, flying too high to the sun is like, you know that you can fly, you know that you can soar. These are going to be high states of bliss, joy, ecstasy, whatever that means for each and every one of you. There's going to be high waves of energy that you're going to be riding on that are going to feel really, really, really good. What they're telling me is don't take it too much, okay? Don't take it to the point of burnout, because joy, bliss, high rolling energy can burn you out as much as extraordinary stress can. And that it's important for you to every day just be very consciously aware to being able to maintain your own physical and emotional energy levels. I'm not seeing as much mental. What's going on mentally? It doesn't look like it's spinning out mentally. It's more like an emotional and physical process. So for you to stay steady, ride the middle line emotionally this week, take the highs as they come. There's going to be like either cool blessings or events or conversations. There's going to be like cool like lifts. They're showing me updrafts. Okay. And this is the emotional frequency. What they're saying is when you're on an updraft, don't get greedy. Okay, don't take it and be like, I'm going to feel like this all the time. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to keep my emotional energy up high, because what's going to happen is it's going to cause a burnout. This is also telling for me that the way the emotional currents are moving through the collective, that it would be very easy that if you not just ride the updraft, but if you take the updraft and then try to drive it upwards, I don't know how you would do this exactly, but like emotionally you try to ride it and keep the momentum of the updraft, the collective is almost going to lift you all the way up and throw you into the stratosphere. And then the only way to come down is to crash. And that would be a manic burnout crash. Again, as always, this isn't for everyone. It is a collective reading. I'm kind of just like bringing your attention awareness to the things that are going on in the collective. And just take what you love, leave the rest, you know? And that's what I want to say there. They're saying again, don't get greedy. So when the emotional energy comes in really happy, really high, really pleasant, really blissful, don't demand more of that than is given to you. It's almost like, let me check in with them again. They just keep saying don't be greedy to me. So it's like they're showing it to me like eating food. So if you're sitting down for dinner, and you're given dinner, right? You're given a certain amount of joy on your plate, and you eat that, your stomach can only metabolize and handle like so much food at one time. So it's like you eating dinner and then you going, I want more, I need more right now, but you're already full, you're already at capacity, you've already eaten dinner, but you're like, these mashed potatoes taste so good, I'm gonna have 4 more plates or bowls of it. Like that's kind of what they're showing me. It's literally like don't be greedy. Don't try to overtake more than you need emotionally in the higher states this week, because Spirit is pacing out the higher emotional frequencies, the like joy, bliss, pleasure, what are some others? Happiness, love is on a higher energy as well. Spirit is dishing it out a little bit all week, okay? And Spirit's doing it, they're showing it to me like a medication to offset the amount of transformation that is happening on the lower, the more dense collective energy waves or energy frequencies. So they're giving like a little bit of joy every day so that we can hop our way through the week. They are telling me there's a lot of density riding in the collective energies. And again, I do read the light worker energy specifically. So let me just check in. What's going on with you guys with that specifically? Oh, there's a wave within the, okay. There's a wave within the light collectors, the light collector. I've said that before. What is that? The light wave. The way the light workers are working with the energy this week is we are metabolizing all of the shadow energy that was exposed and came up from the foundations of the entire collective last week. So we're processing in a dual way. We're processing shadows from the collective energy in an energetic way, and actually an emotional way. It's deeply emotional. Dense emotional energies. If you guys are dipping into depressive episodes, like try to find your way through expressing the emotions, finding friends to talk to, taking mood enhancing supplements if that feels right for you, taking baths, like whatever's gonna allow you to release the more dense emotional frequencies. And then so it's like, what was it again, you guys? The shadow. There are shadows being released from the full collective, and because light workers are healers, we get the wave, we feel the waves first, and we start transmuting and processing that information through our own experience. Now, each of us likely is also going through a personal transformation. A lot of you are likely experiencing ego deaths or shadow deaths, which just feel really, really dense. It's when your identity is shifting and you feel like you like almost lose your identity or lose a part of yourself because it's a part of how the ego relates to your experience. And those are denser energies as well that are also personal, transformational personal energies. So it's almost like the larger collective and the light worker collective and the self are all kind of reflecting the same sort of work back and forth. We're uplifting and transmuting and alchemizing as a collective of light the denser energies at the human collective and within our own experiences. So within our own experiences, that could look like you've got like new memories coming to the surface of maybe trauma that was unresolved when you were a child, or maybe even positive memories. It could look like coming to terms with abandonment wounding, just like deep childhood wounding, like your inner child. So the way the shadow works, I have a lot of things to say about the shadow, but the shadow is a version of the inner child. If I were to split the inner child into two, I would say there's like the light version of the inner child, which is the playful version, the naive version. And then there's the creative version, right? And then there's the shadow of the inner child, and that tends to be our shadow in general. That shadow is really, really present. It's highlighted. They're coming up to be nurtured, to be loved, to bring your conscious and attention, your conscious attention and awareness now to how you act in the dark, okay, in the shadow, how you act and what you think when no one is watching you, how you act and what you think unconsciously in the subconscious on autopilot. Those images, those memories, those behaviors are coming to light now so that you can see them and don't squash your shadow. It just really does a lot more harm than good. So that you can see your shadow, you can embrace your shadow and say, what do you need right now? How can I nurture you like a parent into better habits? The shadow is a child. If you think about the shadow like a child, you'll realize why some of our shadows really run amok. Like, we'll do crazy shit to get attention from us, not from anyone else, like, or maybe from anyone else as well, but really the shadow is the inner child within the self looking for attention from the self, looking for you to handle whatever it is that needs to be handled at the emotional level. And the inner child, the shadowed version of it, our shadow, will do whatever it needs to do to get attention. So instead of, let me think about how to make this human right now. It's like, instead of saying, oh, I should have gotten past that already. Oh, why am I thinking about that? Oh, that's not the way my life is anymore. Oh, why do I do shit like this? This is how it'll sound. Why do I even do that to myself? Why do I even put myself in these situations? Why do I keep repeating these patterns of behavior knowing that they literally don't get me the results that I want? Oh, right, the self-saboteur. Okay, it's the self-saboteur. The self-saboteur is the shadow, and it is a version of your inner child. So when it starts getting your attention where you're like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I think this way? Why am I literally chasing results that aren't working for me? Whatever that means for you. Slow yourself down and even just do a little meditation practice where you talk to that shadow and you say, you're acting out because you clearly have a need that is not being met. I'm your parent now. I'm going to nurture you into health. What do you need right now that I can give you so that you can feel safe and secure enough to feel balanced and loved and not act out? You got to be careful when you talk to the shadow, because it's like, if you tell the shadow, like, I need you to not act out, or I'm trying to get you to behave, like, you'll kill your progress. Like, the shadow will be like, oh yeah, like, let me show you how I'm going to behave. And then it'll run something else in your subconscious. It's like a really interesting process. You have to think about your shadow like it is a child, and you have to be very kind and loving and nurturing with your own speech to your inner shadowed child, and literally try to give it whatever it needs so that you can allow it to mature, because inner children within ourselves can either be mature or very immature regardless. An immature shadow acts out a lot. And with other people. A shadow that has been taught that the shadow's needs can be met by you won't act out. It will just grab your attention and your own consciousness and your own emotional behavior to get your attention so that you can meet your own needs. I'm like, what's another way I can describe that? Let's see. So what are you transforming into? Sorry, my battery's gonna go down a little bit, so I'm not gonna do this as long of a stream. Okay, so you're transforming into, this sounds so trite, but that's how it's coming through, a mature adult. You are transforming into a mature adult who doesn't have a self-sabotaging energy that's like wreaking havoc in their life. Like, your inner shadow will be nurtured and loved just how you nurture and love the inner child that is creative. You're transforming into a whole, complete person where your shadow doesn't feel like it's been shoved into a corner, put a dunce cap on, and told to shut up, which is how, honestly, most people deal with their shadows. So it's about embracing all of yourself. Embrace the full experience this week, whatever's coming up, whatever you're feeling emotionally. Again, there's a lot of these emotional waves. There are going to be high waves for you to like take and feel and enjoy. And then when you come back down, that's okay too, because another emotional wave of joy is going to come to fill you back up, or another wave of love to fill you back up. Okay. What needs to be embodied this week? Okay, so I'm going to explain this in a sec, but they said fame and then play the game. Is that play the game? This week is kind of a wrestling match. When my guides say fame, they specifically mean, how do you guys want to explain this? It's like claiming your space, claiming your territory. When my guides use the word fame to me, they mean God. So when they say to me, claim your fame, they're saying claim your creator status, claim God within you. So it's about claiming, wait, hold on. Tell me more on what needs to be embraced. Releasing the shame and claiming the fame. Okay, so from this entire process this week, just keep in mind that it is specifically about releasing shame. Shame of what you should be, shame of where you should be, shame of how much you should have learned or not learned by now, or what you should be ahead on, or where you think you should be. Shame of what you're experiencing. Because again, these denser energies from last week that are being processed this week, metabolized this week, are darker. They're darker emotional frequencies, denser emotional frequencies. So you might have some shame around feeling, and whether or not feeling that's okay, which it is, it's gotta be, right? We can't like just fly high 24/7. Balance is real. You know, there's almost a degree of narcissism of thinking that you can ride the high 24/7. Like this is going to be a flow. You could be a flow or it could be a roller coaster. It depends on how you look at it. If it's a roller coaster, it means that there's big highs and big lows and you feel like you're crashing and lifting and crashing and lifting. If it's a flow, then you release the control of the outcome of what you're feeling, and you just enjoy the ride. And that will take some of the bite out of the highs and the lows and the difference, because there's a pretty big difference in between them. So go with the flow, let go of shame for whatever you're feeling through the process, because the shame will then lift and then you'll be brought into a new high, a new like level of self-confidence, self-acceptance, joy around other people. Yeah, okay. And then tell me more about embracing fame. Stacking things in your favor. Can you guys tell me more? Allowing yourself to win. Okay, keep going. Allowing yourself to win no matter the circumstances, no matter how much hard work you've put into, understanding that the spirit of life is coming in to support you, because you are worthy to receive and you are doing and putting in the work. Most of the work this week is going to be keeping yourself emotionally balanced. That emotional balance is going to be supported by physical routines, working at certain hours, relaxing at certain hours, sleeping at the same time every night, waking up at the same time every morning. Because you're going to need a certain amount of stability and structure to maintain your consistency of emotional spirit through the week. So, all that to say, be prepared for an emotional week, okay? Be prepared for high highs, low lows, and a lot of dimension in between. Be prepared for being triggered because the highs are going to be so high and the lows are going to be so low, which is going to make you feel like a maniac. That's what's coming through, which means you have to be very attentive to your physical stability and support in any way that you can be, so that you can ride the momentum of the collective that you guys may be feeling in a way that will alchemize your own personal energy automatically. So if you can ride this middle line emotionally through the week, on this collective wave or frequency, it will automatically alchemize the the high highs and the low lows within your own consciousness. Some of the wounding that you have, your inner child wounding, like it'll actually start to bridge that gap and alchemize it just from you riding this like emotional wave in a way that is very, oh my gosh, what's the word? Just like emotionally balanced, emotionally supportive, unattached to what the emotions might look like, not giving them too much credit, being willing to feel whatever needs to be felt, but not attaching to it, not overdoing it either, you know, being conscious about when you are emotionally strapped or emotionally bankrupt, and allow yourself to not take yourself over the edge. Allow yourself to get more support than you think you might need. Maybe reinforce yourself with the support of people you love. Maybe even do it proactively. I don't know, like schedule a dinner this week ahead or something. Like whatever it's going to be, you around other people that love and support you so that you can receive more emotional support than just your own. All right, you guys, anything else on that? What's the high for the week? What can we look forward to? They're saying the next like, I don't know if it's like a chapter or a journey. They're describing to me as a journey, and they're showing a train coming into the station and stopping and pausing for a break. That's almost like this week before it moves on to like the next big destination. What were you guys saying on that? But you guys are also watching me process the emotional energy. I feel slower than I usually am. It's almost like you're at a way station and you're resourcing up this week before you go on to the next journey, the next chapter of your life, which these are big chapters that are being opened right now. This last eclipse portal and everything has like opened up. It's closed big cycles and it's like opened up brand new cycles, which is like very exciting. So we're kind of just, this week is like tying things up, and it does feel very emotional. There's like an emotional, like wrapping things up with a bow. Like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Like, you know, like release what needs to be released, call in what you want. But know that you're on a journey, you're on a new track. That's why they were saying this is a marathon. Pace yourself, because you're getting on the train that's starting the new journey, and the new journey is actually like a marathon. What you have to look forward to is this train, after it leaves the station this week, essentially, you're going to have a very smooth ride. You're going to have a very consistent journey, like the same pace, the same sorts of people around you. So whoever is like staying with you now, whoever feels like they're gelling the most with you in any of your relationships, they're going to be with you on this next thing. Journey, chapter. These new habits that you're setting into place, you know, you're just gonna have a lot of consistency in the next chapter. It's gonna feel a lot more predictable than things have felt, because essentially we're all moving through this. We've busted out of the chrysalis. We're like a new butterfly or what have you. And then we're moving on to the new journey. Like after you're a butterfly, now you're like, okay, I've got wings. Like I'm gonna be a butterfly now and enjoy that experience. So that's like the new journey. If this is like after your transformation, solidifying into the next journey, the next adventure, the next chapter. And that they're telling me that that's going to be a fairly smooth ride. Like it's going to be very consistent, much more consistent than most of you have experienced probably in your life. More enjoyable. They're showing me the consistency is like a real level of safety. Like just knowing like, this is my pace. This is what I do. Like the growth is less about, oh yeah, we probably all have been sprinting through growth. There's been a lot of growth sprints. It's kind of like, you know, teens or even toddlers, like as kids grow up, like they go through these growth spurts, right? So that's what we've all been doing at the Lightworker Collective. And then at some point you stop like physically growing, like maybe you're like 18 or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm settled. Like that's what they're showing me. Like this next chapter, which is like right here, right around the corner, like probably within a few weeks, certainly within a few months, is like you settling into your new body, your new ego, your new shadow that is now a little more matured, your new probably life purpose, your new relationships, your new way of being, your new way of interacting with your world, your new way of receiving, your new way of tapping into your own internal motivations and creating what you want. Your goals, right? Like in this world. So they're showing that that's, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm like done growing. Not that you're ever done growing, but you're gonna feel a lot of relief in that you are now an adult. Like energetically. It's like you're on the train and you can settle into your experience. Because we've all been shifting, growing, alchemizing, oh my God, doing all the fucking things until you get to this point where it's like, okay, got it. I understand this gig now. I'm gonna ride this wave for however effing long I can, which is gonna be a while. It's a long wave. Like they're showing me potentially decades in this new like character experience that you've developed for yourself. So it's, what they're saying you can look forward to is that just get through the crunchy, this like last crunchy bit of stuff, because you're making it through the finish line. You're gonna get to this finish line from the transformation portion of your life. And then you're going to move into what is the marathon, which is the next journey. They're showing me 30 years. This is the next 30-year chapter. And so there's like a longevity around that. But the point is all the growth that you've done up to this point, you can kind of relax for a moment because you're going to realize that that growth is going to create the sustainability for you for a good long time. So it's not going to feel like this forever. For those of you that need to hear, we have all been cracked open. It's been a little crazy, okay. And I hear from a lot of you, and I know it's been nuts. So I'm gonna pull a card. And actually, do you guys want to say, you want to pitch in anything else? The less you know, the better. They're saying relieve the need to know. So like, the ego will try to grasp onto a story that makes sense, but in trying to grasp onto a story, you're going to struggle more. The more you can just ride the wave and allow the emotional lows and highs to kind of just be and bridge themselves and not make them mean anything per se, the easier it's going to be for you to transition with less struggle. And they just sent out Tantric Journey. So I'm going to read this card, but that tells me it's a very sensual experience. It's a lot of blending energies. Like, I gotta think about that a little bit. But the frequency of Tantric Journey. Oh, they were saying journey. How cute are you guys? The frequency of Tantric Journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. This is big relationship energy. Okay, so for those of you that are in relationships, and those of you that are not, they're coming. Because this is a together card. This is a relationship card. Like this is everything I've been talking about the last week. This is like the shadow and the light, like blending, molding to each other like the yin yang sign, supporting each other. This is being supported and supporting relationships. The people in your lives are assets. Find a way, spirit will guide you. Find a way to work with the people around you in a way that you're equally giving and receiving. Supporting each other. The deep tantric energies really are relationship energies. These are the masculine and feminine co-play, co-creation. Understanding the relationship between your higher self and your lower self is coming through really clearly. So not judging oneself as being better than the other, understanding that there's a relationship within you. So similar to how they were explaining the emotional energy of like these highs and these lows and then just trying to find the balance in between. It's kind of the same thing with your higher self and your lower self. It's not like, you know what they're showing me? They're not saying don't live in your higher self, but it's like You can do that to exhaustion. I'm a great example of that. I like live in my highest self to exhaustion. It's not always that way, but they're telling me the chase is what the issue is and the denial. So the higher self represents the chase. The lower self represents the denial in this scenario. So when you're chasing your dreams, chasing your goals, going after everything you want to be, identity shifting, looking at the mirrors around you, making immediate adjustments in yourself, doing all the alchemy work, like that's all higher self work, which is beautiful and immediately necessary. But they're showing me if you do that at the expense of the lower self, like not paying attention to your lower aspects of consciousness, the human, in all of the human ways that humans are, including the body, including the shadow, that it creates a chase and a denial. It's like a denial of the lower parts of the self, which are the less popular parts of the self, and then only like exalting the performance experience. And what they're saying through this tantric journey is bridging the gap and being okay with both. Live in the highs, live in your higher self, open up your highest timelines. Sometimes though, your highest timelines involve living in a lower experience, even temporarily. Because it's not about chasing the high. It's not about chasing your highest self. It's about allowing your highest self and your lowest self to meet and for you to shift in and out of them. But they're really showing me like embrace the higher self, but not at the denial of what it is to be human. And they're showing me the other side is don't wallow in being human so much that you're not picking your head up and going, what can I control in this experience of mine? Like within yourself, like what emotions can I control? Can I give myself more structure? Can I give myself more freedom? What would pull me back out? Can I look at my goals? Can I do some active attraction or manifestation work or things that would lift you into a more higher state? It's like they're saying don't wallow. So it's like just enough of a balance of like, I'm balancing my shadow and my light. I'm balancing my highest self and my lowest self. I'm balancing joy and grief. I'm balancing, what else? Love and inner wounding. It's like kind of, it's flowing. It's allowing the flow of everything being okay. Of you being willing and able to experience everything and not over dramatizing anything that you're experiencing. So when you're in the highs, not clinging to them and saying, this has to last forever, otherwise I'm not valuable. And it's like not clinging to the lows and being like, I have to stay here in the muck and the mud forever. Nobody's gonna get me out because I'm so broken that I deserve to be a piece of shit. That's how they're describing it to me. I don't know. It's just like, it's like, don't over dramatize it. It's like, as a human, we are meant to ride the full emotional experience. Honestly, it's one of the freaking hardest things to do. It's like totally easier said than done. Riding a middle line in this is very challenging. Oh gosh. All right. What else do you guys want to say? Was there anything else on the higher self versus lower self? I'm going to ask that they're starting to tune my energy into the experience of the middle of the wave. So I'm just going to, I got to sit with the energy so I understand what they're unpacking for me. Safety. It's safety. Okay. So anything that makes you feel safe, pack your week in, pack your month in, whatever's coming up, anything that makes you feel safe should be reinforced. Allow yourself to have and experience more safety. Safety is the emotion of the middle, okay? If you feel safe and secure and you feel like things are consistent around you, you will naturally, like when you go low, you'll naturally, like a beach ball, lift back up to the safety line. And when you go high, when you fall, you won't fall down to like the worst of your emotional experience. You'll fall to the safety line. Now they're showing me all the work I've been doing the last couple of years because I've been so focused on safety. If you can feel safe, what it is to feel emotionally safe, feel physically safe, feel mentally safe, and feel spiritually safe, safety is the middle line. So when you're in a manic episode, a depressive episode, and you're riding what is spirit going into your consciousness and shaking up the shadow energy, saying, please look at these aspects of your deep child trauma, your inner child trauma, your deep inner wounding, your abandonment wounding, why you think you're lovable or unlovable. It's like really looking at it, like that stuff's coming up. But when you're in that, don't make it terrible. Don't be like, this is gonna happen forever, blah, blah, blah. Like, go back to safety. Like, feel what you gotta feel, but go to the land of, okay, if you're in an episode of whatever, of any of this, heavier, denser energies, say, what would make me feel safe right now? And then go do that. What would allow me to feel safe right now? I've had friends sending me playlists recently that have made me feel safe. So it's like, you know, maybe put together a playlist, maybe even proactively, that makes you feel safe. Songs that make you feel like you're stable and secure. You can, what else for safety? Relationships that are safe. Get ready to start calling people. Like, it's like you need to be able to feel safe, because those emotional lows are going to be coming if they haven't already for you. Again, only take what you like, leave the rest. I'm not saying to latch on to anything if it doesn't feel right for you, but that tends to be the trend for the last couple of weeks at least. So whatever feels safe will bring you back to the middle line. Now let's look at the highs, because okay. So the parts of the highs that wouldn't feel safe, which is why you'd want to come back down to safety, is like, is this too much? Can I handle this amount of play, this amount of joy, this amount of grace, this amount of good things happening to me? Because what most of us do, at least subconsciously to some levels, when a lot of good things happen, we start to go, when's the last shoe gonna drop? And then go into self-sabotaging, which is usually not a conscious move. It's a subconscious, unconscious thing that happens. So when things get really good, when you're experiencing highs, also, was that hairball? Like, also that was a hairball. Okay, well, we'll go to that. Also, maybe there are hairballs in your life. Allow yourself to sit in the safety from the high. Because if you feel safe, if you come back down to emotional safety, after you experience your high, you won't try to sabotage it, because you'll be like, I can handle the high because I'm willing to come back down to my low, which is just me being safe. It's like not actually a real severe emotional low, it's the safety low. This is what I call a baseline. Like I talk to people, like my clients, about setting new emotional baselines, and it's so that when you fall to your baseline that is a higher baseline than what you typically would fall to. So like if you fall to depression, or self-loathing, instead of falling there, we focus on bringing the fall, whenever you're falling from a high, to safety, because safety is higher than the denser emotions. It's not to say you can't experience the denser emotions, it's just always coming back to safety, which increases your baseline emotional experience. And your baseline emotional experience is where you manifest and you attract and create anything from. So focus on the safety line. Is there anything else you guys want to say about that? Or is this a good point to pull another card, but I had already pulled one. So I guess they're telling me to pull another card. Okay, so focus on wholeness, focus on your relationships. Yeah, there's a lot of flow. There's a lot of quantum work going on. You guys are almost shape-shifting. I don't want to use that in a negative way, but like you're in quantum travel right now. I think you're learning what it is to be the new version of yourself in relationship with other humans. And that's creating like a new set of timelines that are all highest timelines. They're just going to be different for everyone. All right, Spirit, pull out the card. They're not pulling one. It's got to pop. There we go. Sometimes you just, you know the phrase like closed mouths don't get fed. Sometimes you just got to ask a little louder. Like literally I'm like shuffling and I'm like, come on, Spirit. And then I literally say it and then it pops. Okay, because Spirit was like, what do you need? And I was like, I need it to be really clear. I need you to flip the card out for me so I know it's the right card. Prosperity. 36, which also goes down to the number 9. Number 9 is a big cycle completion. You are completing out poverty consciousness cycles, even if they were not that big of a deal for you, if you are very financially stable or very prosperous in general, whatever was a poverty consciousness, whatever was scarcity consciousness is being wiped out of your slate. It's coming to completion. You're like over it, but not over it as in a mean way. You're just like any level of scarcity, you're like, I just don't need it anymore because I know that I'm whole. That's part of this tantric journey, is like understanding that you are whole. And when you're whole, all there is prosperity. There's nothing scarce about wholeness. When you're not whole, we're constantly trying to seek and fill that void. So then scarcity becomes a real issue. Okay, the frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, and soul and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. So do something creative this week. Anytime you make money, cha-ching, anytime something good happens, dance, sing, do something creative, celebrate yourself in even just a small way. Put on some good music that you can vibe to. You can pick a prosperity playlist or like a celebration playlist on your Spotify or iTunes, and like play that through so you can feel prosperous, so you can connect to your own internal creative energy. Again, this also comes back to wholeness, because this card talks about inclusion, which is wholeness. So coming into wholeness with everything you're doing, really ride the middle line this week. Allow yourself to feel safe, and also safe in your expression. Also, like on the prosperity card, you could create like a gratitude list every morning of all of the ways that you are receiving abundance. And by gratitude list, just like write all the good things that are happening every day, like every morning, all the good things that are happening, or at the end of the day, all the good things that happened today. And then just look at it and just be grateful. Like that'll do a lot too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 points. So also understanding the balance within your chakras and your energies. Don't ride one energy too much. Energetically, this reminds me to not just like, don't always maintain my channeling state. Like come back down. It's okay to live out of the sacral and root chakras for a minute for me. It's like, it's remembering wherever you spend the majority of your experience in your whatever chakras you're mostly living out of, remember that there is a necessary balance. This is making a lot of sense actually, because I've been pulled into my root and sacral, but I usually like to run out of my crown and third eye. So it's like balance yourself out. If you need to be more human right now and you got to eat more food, great. If you're the opposite and you need to meditate more right now and you need to channel and you need to get access to your higher states of awareness, then great, do that. Somewhere in the middle is the heart. We've got the heart, the throat, and the solar plexus. So you can kind of hang out in those middle energies, middle chakras, and that would be a really great way of also staying balanced. So anything that's like loving and compassionate, expressing your truth in a really safe and happy way, embodying your confidence, increasing your self-worth, whatever's going to make you feel confident. So maybe it's dressing up every day this week just a little bit extra, or doing something a little bit new in your appearance that makes you be like, yo, I'm fresh. Like this looks good. That'll help your solar plexus energy. There's also a lot of green in this card. I would start either tracking your finances or starting to create new financial goals. Like actually they're streaming this really clearly. Like, what do you want to make every week? What do you want to make every month? Are there other ways you can increase your income? Can you maybe check out some ideas around passive income streams, add another business stream? Are there any other ways that you can accept or receive money? I don't know, repurposing things. They're showing me like years ago I was in a neighborhood where they would always put out like dressers and stuff on the side of the road, and I literally was like, this is great. So I would carry the dressers back to where I was living, and then I would put them on Craigslist. It was like really great. So I don't know, like start to think about where you can kind of source like extra cash. Maybe you can pick up extra hours if you're a freelancer. Maybe even you guys could have conversations if you're in more career-based situations where you ask your employers, like, what would it take to get a raise? What would I need to embody or become? Or like, you know, look into different just possibilities or potentials. Go around your home, see if there's anything that you can sell or let go of, something that you're not using, haven't used in a couple of years. That could open up some revenue. They're really showing me like just allow extra income in. Allow yourself to embrace new prosperity. There's so much green here. And then you get the opportunity to decide what you want to do with all that new abundance. Whether it's investing, whether it's starting a new business, whether it's investing in something in your current business. I don't know. Whether it's doing something fun with your money, like whatever. That's the message that's coming through. All right. Do you guys want to say anything else? Okay, I'm trying to break this message out. Say that again. Have pride and joy. It's so funny. Have pride and joy in your ability to break through. And they're showing me you guys punching through a glass frame. A glass pane, a pane of glass. So that's what this week is. It's a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough. Ride the middle wave so that you can sustain the highs and relieve yourself from the lows. Whenever there's a low, there's a high. Whenever there's a high, there's a low. Look out for that. Know that that's coming. Ride the waves. It doesn't have to be a roller coaster. You can just enjoy the ride. And I think that's what I've got for you guys this week. So if you enjoyed this, please go like the video below. Drop a comment. I'd love to know what resonated with you and or what themes are coming up for you. And yeah, I think that's what I got. I'm going to quickly skim through the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful and an amazing week and that it's easy to ride the emotional safety and the balance. Yes, I love that you quoted that. What would allow me to feel safe right now? I ask myself that all the time. Oh, try high frequency music or 432 hertz. Along with touching Mother Earth barefoot. Yeah, grounding barefoot. Yeah, grounding, earthing would be helpful for sure. Solfeggio tones could be helpful as well musically. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Time to take our power back. Intention is everything. Yes. The new version of self is learning how the new self moves through the world and interact with others. Yeah. There's a learning process. It really, they were showing like a 3-decade experience. So this new version of you is like creating the whole new everything that you're going to be and experience. So clean out the old, release intentionally as well. If you don't make space, you can't add more. That's true. Did I ask that? What needs to be embraced versus really? I feel like I did. Let me ask them real quick. What needs to be released this week? Did we already focus on that? The need to know. They said the need to know. What needs to be released is the need to know. Don't attach to what you think things should mean, the order they should come in. Don't try to look for answers. Just move with your experience without judgment. And I think that's the most harmonious way through that will allow like this prosperity to really blossom for your experience. It's going to come in a lot of ways. It'll come in relationships, new relationships for some of you. So come in financial opportunity, business opportunities, career opportunities, new children for some of you. Yeah, there's a lot of baby energy in the air. Creating enough prosperity so that you can raise a family or increase your family. That's coming through. Prosperity is the energy, and then they already ran on a lot of the financial currents of that energy, but it's an energy of increase, an energy of creation, an energy of increase. It's a constant increase, whether it's like increase in joy, increase in emotional experience, increase in financial health, increase in property. Like, I don't know, it's just increase. Like, everything is increasing consistently, sustainably. Okay, that's what I got. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you soon. Enjoy your week. Lots of love.